Hi everyone, this is the DeFi enthusiast from the Crypto Ronins, and I hope that you're all doing well. So today, guys, we're going to be talking about. It's been a while, I know. So today, at the time of this recording, the price of Bitcoin is at $88,951. Now if we realize for some time, it's been hovering around 90K, 88K, 85K, 86K, and people are getting very, very frustrated. If we look at the fear and greed index right now, it's still in fear, and that is a great buying opportunity, whether anybody accepts it or not. People are very, very on Twitter, on everybody's like, oh, things are never going to go up, everything is down, this and that. And that is when the sentiment is low. That is when actually you should be buying, and you should be accumulating into things that have a real use case. Now let me explain something to you. Gone are the days where you could just pick any trashy coin and it would just do a 10x or 15x or whatever it is. Okay. The reality is, the way that we have worked, the way we work at Crypto Ronins is that we always talked about investing in projects that have a real use case and really good utility. That's what always set us apart. That's how we also succeeded in this market. We weren't looking at every other junk and just putting doing the guesswork. Look, you got to start treating your money like it's a startup, okay? You got to start treating any coin like a startup, like a company. That's exactly what it is. What are they doing? What are they building? It's very, very important. People who say it's only Bitcoin and stuff, I'll say it like a broken record. There's no point of a crypto industry if there are not other alternatives. Now, let me explain something to you. It's very simple, okay? This is where the gold standard is. This is where it's all well developed, but there are projects, there are amazing projects, which we have in our group as well. Things that we have researched on, some which I believe are going to do very well. And some of them are already performed very well, okay? Now, it's all a matter of when the liquidity comes back. Right now, there is a liquidity crisis at the moment. There's not enough liquidity in the market, okay? And I think shout out to No Limit for explaining this, what's going on. He says, if you're wondering why Bitcoin keeps hovering around 85K to 90K, no matter how many people try to push it, he has the answer. He says, and it will likely resolve in the next 72 hours. So here's what's actually going on. Bitcoin is sitting right on critical option flip level around 88K. Above that level, market makers are effectively forced to sell into green candles and buy dips. Any rally is limited and the price goes right back to the middle. Below that level, the behavior changes completely. Selling pressure feeds on itself and volatility grows instead of getting absorbed. That's why price keeps getting pulled back to the same area over and over again. It's not because of traders. Now look at why 90K keeps rejecting. There's a massive concentration of call options sitting at $90,000. 90,000 dealers are shorting those calls. Every time price pushes towards that level, they hedge by selling spot BTC. So what looks like sell pressure is really forced supply showing up exactly where traders expect momentum. That's why every 90K attempt fails miserably. On the downside, 85K is doing the opposite. That's heavy. There's heavy positioning there. As price drops, dealers hedge by buying spot. That's why dips are bought immediately. This creates a tight range that feels completely normal on the surface, but it's not stable at all. The reason this matters now is because of timing. A large chunk of option exposure will expire on December 26th, meaning today, the day after Christmas. Roughly 3/4 of the current gamma profile disappears at expiry. Once we get past December 26th, that pressure will be completely gone. Not because people suddenly changed their minds, but because the forces pinning price in place are gone. By the way, this guy's been studying macro for the last 22 years, and he's been in Bitcoin since 2013. I listened to this guy. Of course, like I said, I have my own analysis. I've been telling you for the longest time. Now, here's my analysis. This is exactly the type of news you need, because now once this whole options thing fades away, there are clear skies for things like Bitcoin, right? There are clear skies for that. And And what's going to happen is you're going to start seeing things go up really, really fast. Things are going to start changing. Okay, like I've been saying since January when Trump came in, when this gentleman came in, when this naughty, naughty president came in, he promised a lot of things for crypto. And look, despite whatever I think of Trump personally, I don't care about that. The thing is that certain things he has delivered, okay? But at the same time, he played an extremely irresponsible game. So remember when this piece of crap, useless thing came out? This thing? Let's talk about it. The Trump meme coin. This guy, we were supposed to be getting the Clarity Act in early 2025. And at that time, it was being debated in the Senate. It was being passed. It was being discussed. It was going to be passed, and it was going to happen very soon. But this gentleman, as soon as he came into power, launched this ridiculous coin, and Melania should have never happened to begin with, right? And what that happened with, the people on the other side, which are the Democrats, there are a lot of Democrats that were pro crypto, but when they saw this, they were like, you know what? This is associated with Trump, so crypto is bad because crypto equals to Trump succeeding. And because he made a lot of money from this. Had he waited for the Clarity Act to pass, he would have made a lot more money and we would have seen a lot of green candles and a lot of good market sentiment overall. So unfortunately that happened, okay? Then, institutions, I've been warning you for the longest time, they have a ton of money, way too much money than you can ever fathom. So for them, even a 2x on whatever they're doing is enough, right? A 3x, a 5x, a 10x is like golden. So what happened is that these people, they played with people's emotions, okay? I warned my followers, by the way, if you had joined me, you wouldn't have been in trouble because I told them, just DCA into the right things that have real utility that you believe in. And, we gave some of those. And I warned them not to leverage trade. Look at the biggest wipeout that has taken place so far. Way bigger than FTX, way bigger than the Luna crash, everything because of leverage trading. So many leverage traders have been wiped out. They have no money to even come back into this market. And that's exactly what I warned my followers about, that, from January onwards, this is what's going to happen. I also told them that we're probably not going to see, very, very, super bullish markets this year, because of everything, all the manipulation they're doing, because they really want to get rid of the US debt. They really wanted to get rid of all those people too, because they want the least amount of people to have exposure to this industry and actually make profit from it. It's just that simple, guys. I know they're evil. I know they're horrible, but this is how it is. So the best thing was you had to be patient. You had to put your money in the right coins, even if you were at a little bit of a loss. You should have DCA'd, and you shouldn't have played the game of leverage trading. And you would have been fine. So if you've made it so far, congratulations. Okay. If you're coming into this market now, there's no better time than now than to join Crypto Ronins, guys, because this is the perfect time, because things are going to go crazy. Now, I'm not going to make any predictions, but I believe the Clarity Act is going to pass early in 2026, and all markets are going on chain. That means billions and trillions of dollars are going to be coming into this industry within the next 5 years. And especially from 2026 onwards and 2027, they're going to turn the money printer on because, they need to win elections again. I've heard rumors that because Trump didn't come consecutively for the second time as president, so he's going to try to become president again. So they need to create a very, very healthy green market for retail as well. Okay, you got to understand these things. These are very important fundamentals. So to create that, they're going to gain people's confidence. They're going to gain their votes, and they're going to come into power. Okay, that's really what it is. So they have to turn the money printer on between 2026 2027. So just imagine the levels where Bitcoin is going to go. Just imagine where the right projects in altcoins, the right ones, okay, not every altcoin, but the ones that are actually building like a real startup, like a real company, what they're going to do. And we have given you some, like I've given you more for very openly, guys. I cannot be more bullish enough. You guys need to look into it. But there are other ones as well. So this you have to understand. You have to understand the game, guys. This is a game, and this is more of a game of your mind and your mental state. It's all, if you can control your mental state, if you can remain patient and calm, you can really, really benefit from this market. Okay, this market rewards the patient, and it punishes those who are impatient. So, like I've been warning, I've been saying to my followers exactly what was going to happen, and it has been happening. And some projects like XRP and XLM and all, they're really going to benefit from the Clarity Act, and then the Genius Act as well. Okay, now what will happen next year? They've been also doing this delay because they really want the Genius Act to be well built, because they want to control the supply of stablecoins. That's really what it is. Basically, the Genius Act will actually just allow banks to take control of stablecoins. It'll allow banks to print out more money through digital coins, whatever it is, USDC, USDT, whatever. They're gonna have, they're gonna become like conglomerate banks. Okay, so shadow banking is coming in 2026, whether you like it or not, in crypto, unfortunately. And of course, with this act, it allows non-banking parties to not be able to launch their own stablecoin. Like, they have to be under some legislation. So it's going to be it'll be possible, but very difficult. So they're going to make that entry, or that chance to, for some random XYZ person to come in and, launch their own stablecoin. No, it's not going to happen. Okay. But right now it can, but it won't after that. So they want control of that. Remember, I've been warning my followers for the last 2-3 years. They're gonna try to control your cashing out process. They want to track everything. Look at what Europe is doing right now with the CBDCs and everything. So they want that sort of an environment, and that's why the privacy narrative is also really going to take off too. Because the reality is, once the beast is released, there's no way to really contain it. People are always going to find solutions. They say invention is the mother of all necessity, right? So, necessity is the, am I saying it right? I don't know. Is it, invention is the mother of all necessity. Yes, because it's necessary. It becomes a necessity, and people start inventing different things, different projects, different ideas, different concepts to make things work for them. Because the reason most people were in crypto is because they didn't like government control, and now it's happening. And that's also another reason why we saw so many whales selling, because they have lost their concept in what Bitcoin was all about. So it's kind of been like that. So that rotation, and of course some of those whales had millions and 500K and 300K and so on. So some of them are billionaires. So they can look elsewhere as well, besides crypto. And of course, they're going to look into other cryptos that are actually building. And I think Ethereum is a great one for sure. I believe in that. I think Solana is going through some serious FUD, especially because of the whole pump fund thing. But I'd have a little bit of exposure to that. But don't be emotional, and don't buy a big bag, but still buy one. I still think Solana is going to survive, but 2026 might be a little bit shaky. There are other projects that are within our private group. If you want to know what they are, join us. If you want mentorship with us, join us. If you want to explore, because our time is money, join us then, guys, because it's very, very important. So, guys, I hope this brings more clarity. We've been actually building a lot of things. We've been building our newsletter. We've been building our private group. So whichever option you choose, soon everything will be revealed. So we've been really, really busy in that. That's why I haven't been very active, in churning out videos. But I will do my best to be more regular. And as always, guys, I hope this video was useful. I hope you learned something from it. And guys, remain patient, because good times are coming. Take care. This is me, the DeFi enthusiast from the Crypto Brokerage, signing out. Bye.